Hello friends, welcome to Champions of Canada. As you know, from this platform, we always invite a great personality who is champion in their field. What do you say, Navin?
Correct, Amarjeet. So today we are having a conversation with Mayor Mike Hurley of Burnaby. He's a very popular mayor and a mayor, I believe, who does a lot of work. So let's meet him and let's speak to him about his journey from Ireland to Canada, and let's begin the show.
Yeah.
Hello, Mayor Mike.
Hello.
Thank you for being on our show.
Hello, Mr. Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Great to see you guys.
Yes.
Nice to see you here again.
Yeah.
Again, and I think you are one of our champions of Canada. You traveled from Ireland, I believe, in the year 1983.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct. You were, how old were you that time?
I was 25,
25.
When I came here. Yes.
So,
from Northern Ireland, from Belfast, outside Belfast.
So before you start sharing your experiences, whatever work you have done in the past, please give us in brief your life history.
My life history. Well, I was born in Northern Ireland, a little town called Macrofelt, which is outside Belfast. One of 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls. I was the second youngest. We grew up in a very small house, 950 square feet. So, we grew up with not much. My dad was a construction worker. Most of my family finished up being construction workers, and it was a struggle at times. Although, having said that, I spent a lot of time in farms and had a lot of good times as well, but not relying on money. We were relying on good companionship, good friendships, and
No mobile phones?
pardon me?
No mobile phones?
No phones at all, as a matter of fact. So
The landlines were very difficult to get those
yes,
things to.
and my family didn't even have a car. So, when we got around, we walked or we rode our bikes. So they were great times, but hard times. But at the same time, we found good ways to entertain ourselves. Yeah.
Those were fun times when you could go out in the fields and play football, soccer,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Yeah, rather
You didn't
than
have the
busy,
phone. Rather than busy on
we went out at 9 in the morning and come back for dinner.
dinner. That's it, yeah.
That was it. So.
Great.
So how was the transition in terms of you? What made you come to Canada?
Well, Northern Ireland in the late 70s, early 80s was a very, let's say, a very unstable place. And jobs were hard to find, especially decent paying jobs. And I was also a musician. So I made, as well as being a carpenter, I was a musician. So, and I made much more money playing music. To be honest.
What instrument do you play?
I play guitar and piano and bass guitar. So I was fortunate enough to be with a good bunch, and we did well in the music scene. So I actually came to Canada in 1983 as a musician.
Oh,
not as a carpenter.
so you can give him a run for his money.
Yeah, so it was interesting. And when I came to Canada, I played music around until I got my landed immigrant status, and then decided I had to find a real job, which my dad had been telling me for years. Mm-hmm. He would be proud of me now because I finally got a haircut.
You started your job as a firefighter.
Yes.
Right. So was it just an accident, or you wanted to be firefighter, or you just wanted any
A job.
Yeah.
Well, I was working construction by that stage, doing my trade, carpentry, building homes, and it was it wasn't a very reliable job. You didn't know if you were going to be working next week or next month. A good friend of mine got hired as a firefighter, introduced me to it, and said, "Why didn't you try it?" And I did, and to be honest, it was the best thing I've ever done because it gave me an opportunity to help people and to work with people, and especially those that needed help in our community. So I got to learn a lot about our community and the camaraderie of working with so many firefighters in team situation was. I never felt like I was going to work any day. I was going to be to do what I love to do. So I love going to work, and not many people can say that throughout their life.
After 9/11, when that unfortunate thing happened, it was the firefighters in New York who saved the day. They were the frontline soldiers there, because the firefighters, I believe there are many movies made on that too. The way they went ahead and rescued people, helped people. I mean, firefighters, it's a great job in terms
and of course, 345 of them died there too, right?
That's what I was just coming to that.
Yeah.
Is that the same, stressful job as the policing is, or it's less stressful, or how do you compare with the police and then the firefighter?
Well, I always compared, and I became a negotiator for the firefighters. So I always compared firefighting to you have to make your decisions really quickly. Like, you don't get a chance to go back to the drawing board and sit down. You turn around a corner and this building's on fire in front of you. You have to make a lot of decisions really quickly. Number one, to get people to safety, but number two, to protect your own people as well.
Mind.
Right? So there's a lot going through your mind in that first 30 seconds that you have to make a decision. So from that perspective, there's no stress like that. That's very, very, very stressful, and you feel if you're an officer, which I was in the end, you feel a great obligation to get it right, because a lot of lives are at stake. So definitely firefighting would be the most stressful, more stressful than construction. Because construction, you can get to think about things.
Is policing also the same, almost like firefighting?
Pardon me?
The work stress for the police?
Policing is very stressful in different ways. They're dealing with people every day that are not easy to deal with, and whereas we're always seen as the good guys. When we show up, people like to see us, and we're there to help. We're there to resolve an issue. So there's different levels of stress. Police approach things differently than firefighters.
So, Amarjeet, what we were discussing was that how did you get the mayor's job? How did you think that let's fight the election?
Well, I was 30 years as a firefighter right here in the city of Burnaby. I think I got to know the community very well, and I certainly got to know the needs of the community. But in my last 5 years, I would say, there was a lot of homeless, and we were going to sites that people were frozen to the ground because they had nowhere to stay, and that really stuck very hard in my heart. And we had nowhere to send them. So really, that's what got me interested in. We have to do things a bit better, and we have to have more compassion. And we're a very rich society. Canada's, let's face it, compared to the rest of the world, we're a pretty rich society. So it's heartbreaking to me that there are people who are struggling every day to put food on the table. And I really wanted to make a difference in people's lives, like I did as a firefighter, but in a different way, in a leadership role. And that's really what got me thinking about I should run and try to make a difference. Because I look at my own kids, and I want them to have a great future, and I want all kids, no matter where they're from or what their background, to have a great future and something to look forward to. So that's why I got into politics.
So you felt that you can work better as mayor rather than, as a firefighter officer?
Well, you have more
opportunities or...
you have more ability to make change. As a firefighter, you react to what the situation is.
Correct.
But as a leader, as a mayor, you have an opportunity to affect change, and hopefully that's what we're doing. And that's very important to me, that people have good lives, people are happy, for the most part happy, and the children are going to school not hungry.
Correct.
And unfortunately, in our society, that happens way too much.
So how do you go about with the governance system? I mean, what is it like in a day in a mayor's life? How do things happen? You get up in the morning, come to office, or there are things which you take care of. How does it work? How's your day?
Well, a mayor's day is very spread out. Usually the morning is busy. Then you get a little lull in the afternoon, but then it goes to late at night. Okay. So because I take the job so seriously and I try to meet people where they want to meet and where they feel safe meeting, because I think it's important to give people safe spaces where they can say what they really think.
Without pressure.
Without pressure. And that doesn't happen by them coming to City Hall. Yeah. Because when people come to City Hall, they just, the nature of City Hall makes you. So I like going meeting them on the street or at their home.
Yeah, I mean, going and meeting people in their own homes.
And I do that a lot. I ride my bike, I go to meet them, and that, when they see the mayor on a bike, now they're not threatened. They're not threatened. They're like, oh, the mayor's here on a bike. And,
so all those work, you have done in the past and planning to work in the future for the city of, Burnaby people. What is thought behind, or you can say that the work, someone's work? Who is your role model to whom you are following with those thoughts and that work?
Well, there was a former mayor here in the city of Burnaby, Bill Copeland was his name, and Copeland Arena was named after him. And he was a big influence in my life. He, very compassionate man, and he actually was one of the ones who influenced me to join the fire department way back then, and then he gave me advice along the way. And I just saw the way that he interacted with people and how he related to people, and was very down to earth. Not
that's good.
Not that I'm better than you. I'm the same as you. We're all the same. And I truly believe that. That you and I can sit and have a cup of tea and feel good about sitting with each other. So I would say Bill Copeland was definitely one of my role models, from that perspective. And all the firefighters, or most of the firefighters, I shouldn't say all, most of them are very, very good at seeing what people need and trying to help. So really that background has really helped me become the person I am, and the way I was brought up too. I was brought up as everyone's equal. There's no superstars out there. Yeah. We all have 2 legs, 2 feet, and we can find our way in life if we all work together.
So Amarjeet, we can very safely call the Honourable Mayor as the firefighting mayor.
Yeah.
The firefighting mayor.
Well, yeah, you're still always putting out fires. There are different types of fires.
That's why I said the firefighting.
But I think listening to people and really hear what they say. Yeah. Like some people listen to give an answer, but I try to listen to hear what they're really saying and what they're really feeling.
Correct.
And try to respond on that level rather than
in practical way.
Rather than saying, this is what I believe you said, but really hearing what you said, which is different.
How does the city get its revenue? How do you feel that what needs to be allocated for roads or construction, building codes, the sewer, and whatever goes in managing the city? So how does the whole team take a decision, the council members or just the mayor? How does it work in Burnaby?
Well, we have a very complex budgeting system, which is put together mostly by our staff. Okay. And then is brought through the budgeting process with all of council. Mm-hmm. So all of council gets to vote on what the priorities are and what's the priorities for this year. Of course, the mayor has a leadership role. And hopefully that shines through. But, we have great staff here at the city, fabulous staff who really do a great job. And I feel fortunate to work with them every day. They're compassionate, they care about the city, and they know the city. And, they're the ones that really run the city. I get to stand up and talk about it. But I'm under no illusions that it's the 3,000 staff that work here that really make a huge difference, and I get to lead that, but not for 1 minute do I think that I'm any more important than any one of my staff. Great. Each one of them have an important role in the city, and that's how we work together.
Great. As now it's clear that you are going to serve furthermore 4 years as a mayor city of Burnaby. So what is your plan? What is your strategies you are going to work on?
Well, I think we have laid out many of our plans in our transportation plan. We've laid out our plans to hopefully have a positive effect on climate change. Our housing plan, I think we've done a tremendous job of laying that out so that we can get more affordable housing. But the real challenge for me is keeping our young families in Burnaby, because young families are our lifeblood. And if our city gets too expensive, or we're not building the right type of housing to keep young families here, we're going to be in, our city is not going to be full, it's not going to be whole over the next number of years. So really that's the big challenge for me now, is to try and build that right type of housing so young families can afford to stay here and thrive, live and play, and enjoy being here. And that's the biggest challenge as we move forward.
Some facilities more towards the sporting arena or towards sports, stuff which goes into making maybe smaller recreational grounds or stadiums, something like that. Do you have something in your vision?
We have 4 community centers coming online. We have a swimming pool going in down here that will be a competition pool, 50-meter Olympic-sized pool. The Burnaby Lake area is our intention, and certainly my intention, to make it the sports center of Canada. Not British Columbia, Canada. That's the vision. And we believe we can do that. Tennis Canada are going to move in there. We're building an Olympic-sized pool for competitions. We're building a new ice rink there. And there are many more. Rowing, we have really solidified the rowing on our lake, which will become the Canadian national team's training ground. So much excitement about Burnaby Lake and what we can do in that area. People are coming to me every day with ideas, and the Christine Sinclair Center, which we purchased, is going to be a big part of that too.
The Shadbolt Art Center is beautiful.
It is.
I mean, it's one place where at least I love spending my time.
Yeah.
And so does Amarjeet, because it's full of art.
Many times here.
Yeah.
He's performed here many times.
And the park there is beautiful too, the whole setting. And we have a couple of homes there now that we give free to artists who come to teach and who come to perform their arts for a few months at a time.
In the Shadbolt Center?
Not around the lake. There's 2 homes that we allow artists to come there and develop their art, whatever that craft is, be it musicians, be it art, be it poem writers or whatever.
That's excellent. Maybe we can take up the offer in one day.
So we're very excited about that, and part of that is that while those people get to stay there, that they teach some classes at the Shadbolt Center. And
so besides this musicians plan, and then as you talk about the sports, do you have any specific plan or provision for the educational department or the education?
For the what?
Education.
Education. Well, education at Shadbolt and for the arts is always.
I mean, the school system, and I don't say that the level is down, but that to put from this level to the up.
What he's trying to say is to enhance the levels, basically enhancement towards the education system in Burnaby. Are there any plans, or is it out of your view?
The education system is really outside of what the city does.
Correct.
That's more at a provincial level. The school board level looks after that. But of course, we're always trying to show enhancements. We work closely with Simon Fraser University. We now have a relationship with them to come up with new innovations. We have an innovation lab that's shared equally between the city and Simon Fraser, that hopefully will lead us some towards new innovations here in how we run the city and how the city functions. We work closely with BCIT as well, and hopefully we'll be able to announce another college moving into our city very soon.
All the best for that.
Yeah.
So, while talking to you, we are enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm freaking out because you get to learn so much.
You work so many places in a different, capacities, so that anything while working in those areas, something touch your heart.
All the different the diversity within our city always touches my heart. Like I learn so much about each community and and how passionate they are about their cultures, and which is great. I think that's a huge strength here in our city, and certainly I learn more every day, and working with our Indigenous peoples too, learn so much from them. But at the end of the day, and I see this in all communities, there's a common thread. Everyone wants to look after their families.
Yeah, correct.
And that's the very basics of life. And I see that in each and every community. And I think sometimes we forget that although we have our own cultures, but at the root of it all, we're all very much the same, you know. So you know, that's a great part, and it's something I've become very, you know, very attached to, is all those different cultures and learning.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself in politics for the next 10, 15 years?
No.
Anything after
No.
mayor, a member of parliament? Or
No, I'm very happy at the mayor's chair here, and you know, if I have continued good health and you know, the citizens still want me, I would like to be here for a little while yet. But you know, that's all down to the residents of Burnaby. They're my boss, and at the end of the day, they'll decide. But you know, a lot of things comes down to your own health and how you're feeling yourself.
Correct.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Hurley. Anything especially you want to say to our listeners?
Well, you know, I think I would just like to say the city of Burnaby is a magical place, but it's as magical as we all make it together, right? So we all have to continue to work together to make the best city that we can have, so that our children can grow up and have a great life. We can look after our elders, and we can look after those less fortunate in our community. So if we all work together and have a good heart, I believe we can achieve all those things. So thank you very much for coming here to see me.
Thank you so much for your time, and then we look forward for your coming further years, and all the best for your.
We wish you all the best.
All the best.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.